Greetings, beautiful one. Sonia, the host of the Treasure Is You podcast, and we are live in 2026. We are listening to the intuitive wisdom. We are seeing ourselves. We are feeling ourselves. And in this new cycle, this new beginning, we are learning more and more of who and what we are. Yes, beautiful ones. It is a simple thing to know, yet at the same time, it can be confusing for some, especially if you are still under the spell of limitation. Yes, dear ones. But in this new beginning, we are experiencing ourselves. Yes, we are seeing ourselves. We are feeling and knowing what is up. Yes, what is up, dear ones? What is up with you today? What is going on in your life? And what is happening? Yeah, I want to know. Because in this podcast, it is a space of healing, it is a space of alignment, and it is a space of remembering. So, as I say these things, this podcast is a space to help all of us stay in that vibration of knowingness. It is. So I am able to hear the voice of Source. Are you? Are you able to hear the voice of Source? And what is Source? What is Source to you? Because, we have so many labels in this world. And I'm aware that we do have to have names for certain things. But what is Source in your world? Is Source God? Is Source the power? Is Source the creator? Is it the omnipotent essence that flows to you and through you and helps you to see? It helps you to understand. Is it that essence, as I like to call it, that brought you to this podcast? Is it? Why are you here? You are in this podcast for a reason. Yes. Well, dear ones, we all can hear, and we all are able to hear the voice of Source when we allow ourselves to quiet that outside noise. And yes, it is very noisy. That's the intention. The intention is for it to be so noisy that you cannot hear when the Creator is whispering to you through the wind, through the trees, through a baby, through your neighbor. Yes, this is how that voice of God can communicate to you. Yes. And then as well, You can hear it from your own inner hearing. Yes. Once you quiet, as I said, quiet that noise, that background noise that we all hear. Oh, yeah, we all hear it. So, the voice of Source, what does that sound like? Yeah, what does the voice of Source sound like to you? Is it loud? Is it screaming? Is it telling you what to do, what not to do? Is that the voice of Source? Or is it more gentle? Is it a nudging to inform you that all is well, that everything is A-OK? Is it that type of a voice that's not screaming, that's really connecting with you in a subtle way that most of us miss it? Yeah, we all, or most of us, miss that voice that is communicating with you all the time. Yeah, I'm here to tell you the voice of Source is always communicating with us. Yet when we are occupied doing so many things, we miss it. Yeah, we miss that internal voice that is telling you everything is okay. And for you to be present, to slow down, to look around your surroundings, to listen. Yeah, to listen. Yeah. Listen to the tones of the voices that is being spoken to you. Listen to the tones. Yeah. This is how we are able to distinguish if this is the voice of Source. Because I'm just here to inform you that the voice of Source does not scream, does not tell you to not do something. No, it does not. What the voice of Source does is helps you to see the full picture. Yes, this is what the voice of Source does. It allows you to visualize, and as you're visualizing, a thought may come into your mind. Yes. A person may come to your mind. These are all intuitive ways that Source communicates with you. Source doesn't say, okay, Sonia, stop it. Don't do that. No, Source does not speak in that way, like I'm speaking. It speaks in a whisper that may show up in an image. It may show up at a stoplight. It may show up as a person giving you directions. Yeah, it may show up as the wind blowing across your face. These are the ways that Source speaks to you. So I'm informing you this. So take note, because if you're looking for a voice to have a conversation with you, you're missing the mark. Now, at times, you may receive some words, but I'm here to tell you, more often than none, it's going to be what I just said. It's going to be that wind blowing across your face. It can be a bird as well that may land on your back porch, your deck, your balcony. As I said, it could be a child. It shows up in so many ways because Source is within all life, and Source can communicate in any way that Source wants to communicate with you. I'm just here to let you know many different ways. So, again, don't look for some kind of conversation. No, because you will miss the internal voice that is always available and is always speaking to us. But we miss it. We miss it because really we don't know who and what we are, right? If we knew who and what we were, then you would be listening and looking in all directions. Yes, all directions, instead of expecting a conversation. It's pretty laughable. But as I laugh, you can, when you get to a level of the understanding of who you are, you can receive a conversation. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. I'm not going to say you can't. But when you're first starting off, you are going to receive your messages through nature, through people, through subtle movements and aha moments and colors, numbers. Yes, you're going to receive it in those ways. And the reason why we receive it in those ways is because you are learning how to hear. And this is how you hear, dear ones. So take notes on that. This is a refresher course because you really do already know this. You just have forgotten. Yes, you have forgotten that part of yourself that can hear, that can see, that can feel, and that knows. So connect yourself with the elements, all of the elements. That is one of the major ways that you are able to hear Source speak to you, is through the elements. The water, the wind, the air. Yes. This is how, dear ones. So pay attention to that. Because as I have been sharing in these couple of recent videos, life serves us. In 2026, dear ones, is a year where we are fine tuning those natural abilities that we all have. Okay, because I have shared that we are all psychic, we are all clairaudient, right? We are all channelers, we are all mediums. It is our natural makeup. So, because I am a messenger just like you are, I am putting out these messages so you can begin to fine tune your own intuitive guidance. Yes, dear ones. And I will place a link if anybody, I will place my email in the description if anybody would like to have a consultation, because I am here to help you just learn the basics. Because let me tell you, dear ones, when we all learn the basics, you have just up leveled and you have just removed yourself out of the matrix. Now, when I say you have moved yourself out of the matrix, meaning you're not the pawn, you're not like the puppet being pulled, the strings are being pulled, and you're, running this way and you're running that way. No, when you fine tune your own natural abilities, yes, take note of this, natural. Okay, I want everybody to hear what I am saying. Natural. When you exercise your natural abilities, you will begin to see that everything is a-okay. Yeah, you will. You will begin to see this whole life, this whole canvas of life. You will see it in a more vivid, a more organic, in a more, what's the word I'm looking for? It will be moving, like in a rhythmic type of way, a type of way. Yes, you will, because you are fine tuning. Remember that word, fine tuning. Yes, dear ones, we are all psychic. You just have to fine tune it. Now, a huge portion of the collective, because of doubting ourselves and because of us not knowing who and what we are, it is a lot of work for those who are not dedicated to learning about your own psychic, intuitive abilities. But I'm just here to let you know that when you do fine tune and dedicate yourself to your own psychic, intuitive abilities, you, because we are in a healing space, you will begin to start healing yourself. You will begin to start seeing that, guess what? Nothing's wrong with me. I thought all these years that something was wrong with me, and it wasn't. This is what our intuitive abilities will do for each person. Yes, you will begin to see your abilities. And when you do, this is where you will have the ability to help others like I am helping others. Yes, this is what it's all about for those who are seeking and want to fine tune their natural abilities. Yes, their natural abilities. This is all natural, it's your birthright. Okay, so 2026 is a year where we will be exploring our natural abilities. We will be taken up and down and all around different types of scenarios that's going to feel uncomfortable. Yeah, it's going to feel like it's stretching you, and you're going to at times retract, retract back to that fearful mentality because that is what all of us have been accustomed to. But I'm here, as always, to let you know to ride it out, to allow for the stretching, allow for that uncomfortableness to take place because this is what 2026 is going to be about, dear ones. And when you allow yourself to stretch, you're going to just continue to move forward and continuing to move forward and forward until you reach a level, right, of just complete knowing, and then you'll move on to another level. This is how it is, dear ones. So 2026 is going to stretch us, and things are going to happen in 2026 that's going to make your head spin. It's going to make you feel like, I don't want to be a part of this. But no, you do want to be a part because you asked to reincarnate during this time period because this is a new cycle where we get to reinvent ourselves. Yes, the old is gone. Unless you want to go back to the old and rehash moments where all of us have been looping, all of us have been recycling ourselves and not getting anywhere. Yeah, we have the choice to do that if you want to. But I don't think you want to if you're in this podcast listening. Yeah. If you're in this podcast listening, then you want to continue to move forward because we are able to hear the voice of Source. And Source has always been talking to us. We just didn't know what it sounded like. All right, beautiful ones. So pay attention, as I said, to nature, to the wind, to the birds, to butterflies. Yeah, that's another one. Dragonflies. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, you're looking at a person that I receive messages all the time through everything that I just said to you. Dragonflies, butterflies, bees. Oh my gosh, bees is a major one. Like, seriously, bees flying in my face. Now, of course, our natural instinct is to be afraid and to move that bee out your way. And I have done it. I have moved the bee out my way. But then I would fine tune and listen and knew that this was a message from Source telling me that everything is a-okay and to continue working diligently. That is what the message of the bee is. To continue with your work. And when you do continue with your work, you are going to reap all of the greatness because you have been diligently working. Oh, yeah, I have been, which this is another, just, it's a message. I'm just sharing with you so you'll know. I have had bees, not a lot of bees, but a bee in my face in the wintertime. So where does a bee come from in the winter time? You see what I'm saying? Bees are not around in the winter time as far as I know. So yeah, I would get a bee. It would be all in my face, buzzing to let me know to continue moving forward, to continue working, because that is what the bee does. The bee does its work. It gets it done. All right? Gets its gets get its job done. So we are learning how to interpret the messages from the voice of source. So pay attention. Pay attention when you're walking as well. Yeah, when you're walking, pay attention, and you will begin to fine tune your own psychic abilities. Yeah, you will. Because it's our natural way. That's what's so laughable. It's our natural way to do these things. But if we haven't been exercising our psychic muscles, then how are you going to learn if you don't exercise it? So we are learning to exercise it in this podcast. Yes. So we want to be able to fine tune our clear audience, our audience, that's being able to hear beyond the physical. You hear within the mind, you hear through emotion, yeah. You hear through thoughts, yeah. And as I said, it's not always going to be a voice. It just depends on what you're doing. Yeah, it really does. Ringing in the ears, high pitch ringing in the ears, thumping. There's so many forms that you can hear, but it will be different for everybody. This is why you have to pay attention to what you are doing at that moment. If you hear a high pitch ringing in your ear, it can mean so many things. It can mean you just got a download of information. It could mean that, but it just depends what you're doing. It could mean you're on the right track, right? If you hear a sound that doesn't sound pleasant, then for me, now it could be different for you. That's like a warning, a warning to be cautious. That's one of mine. But as I said, it could be different for you. But these are just examples. Yeah, they're examples because you will receive so many different ways. And when we can fine tune our clear audience, then as I said, you are actually healing deeper parts of yourself that were unknown. Yeah. We are becoming whole in this physical material world. We're not relying on the outside world to give us a pill, to give us a drink. Yeah, that was us in the old mentality. Oh, we gotta take a pill, we gotta take a drink to get through something. No, You don't got to take no pill and you don't got to take a drink. Because when you do that, you're just dumbing yourself down so you can't hear the intuitive guidance. That's what you're doing. You're taking the pill so you can dull your senses and you can't hear. And then you think, oh, am I going crazy? Yeah. So no more pills. If you can avoid the pills, please do. Yes, please avoid the synthetics if you can. Aim to be as natural as you can. And as I say this, I am picking up on, and I want people to hear this, yes, especially women. So, this is something that I have always known as a child, as a young child, a child knowing this. And I know many others have felt the same way. But this is what I mean about we give our power away. We think we don't have a choice in the matter, but we always have a choice. So, what I'm about to discuss is birth control. I remember as a young child, well, not that young, a teenager. Okay, let me see. A teenager, maybe 16, 17. And maybe even younger, like seeing the commercials, they were just advertising birth control for women. And I remember Planned Parenthood. Yeah, like they were pushing that. They were pushing the pill. So when you would watch the commercial, right, it would have no joke. And I know some of you do remember this. And it's not just with the pill, it's with all medication. It would have at least 50 to 100 side effects. Oh, it can cause this. It can cause hypertension. It can cause you to have seizures. It can cause you to um, get diabetes. It can cause you to gain weight. It can cause you, it was saying all these things that it could cause if you take the pill. So this is me as a young child. I said, well, why would I take that pill if I could get this and this and this and this and I can, all these things could happen to me. So why would I take this pill so I don't get pregnant? Yeah. That was I'm still perplexed by that. I'm really still perplexed by that, the warnings. And this goes really for all medication. Yeah. Because they're telling you all of this could happen if you take it. But you can still take it if you want. But guess what? This may happen. So for me, guess what? I never, well, no, I did take, I did take it probably a week or two just because of me following, me listening to what they're saying. And then I had to wake up and say, I ain't taking that mess. Because I already knew that if I took that pill every day, that it was throwing me off my natural rhythm. This was me as a young teenager. I knew that it would throw me off. I knew that it was going to disturb me, like who I am. And for me, that was important. And it still is important. So I believe I took it for a week or two and then I stopped it. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm not taking that. You see what I'm saying? So I know that it has advanced into like implants. Like you women have to put an implant within them so they don't get pregnant. Like we would have to do all these things so you don't get pregnant instead of just abstaining. I know I'm saying it like it's so easy, but I'm just here to share with you. The main reason why I'm sharing this with you is that when you take any type of synthetic pill, you are prone to have all these other things that can happen to you because it is throwing your natural rhythm, your natural essence off. And for me back then, that was not going to happen. So, and I felt strongly about that. Like that was a clear knowing for me. There was no doubt. I didn't have to have any facts or anybody telling me anything else. Like I just knew I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that to throw me off. And then I noticed a lot of people who did take the pill, they gained a lot of weight. Yeah. So I believe that was another one of those side effects. Yeah, I knew a lot of women who took the pill who gained a lot of weight. So for me, I didn't want to engage in any of that stuff. No, none of it. Because as I said, why would I take this pill and all these other things could happen to me? Hypertension, um, stuff with my kidneys and like everything from A to Z. Like even to this day, when I hear about a medication and they say, oh, this can happen to you and don't take this if you're taking that. And they're like, well, why would they take it then? You're telling them to take it, but then you're telling them it's like a contradiction. I guess though, I guess they're like putting it out there so they won't be in trouble, I guess. If you take all of this can happen to you. You can have a seizure, you can have a stroke, you can this, you can that. So I choose not to take it then. So that's the purpose of that story. So I know that a lot of women, they took it because they want their main objective was I'm not getting pregnant. It had nothing to do about their natural essence and their rhythm. It was their main objective was I'm not getting pregnant. That's what it was. So that's how they got all of us women. They got all of us women with that drug, which I know some people there they were happy, taking it. But I'm just here to tell you that anytime you take a pill to prevent you from what you naturally do, it's throwing you off. It's doing something to you internally that you're unaware of and that you may have to seek help later in life. And guess what? You probably don't even know that it was that pill you took if you was taking it for a lot of years. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. We begin to start taking things and then you start to get sick and stuff happen. So I just avoided that. At a young age, I knew, no, I'm not doing that. Now, I'm not knocking any woman because that was what you believed then, but I'm just sharing what I believed then at a young age, and I knew for myself, no, I'm not doing that. And that's just me. So that's it in a nutshell. So we just have to trust and believe and know. There we go. Know who we are, and then you don't have to worry about any side effects because we got many other things in this world that can affect us. So, why take things yourself that can add to it? For me, I don't understand it. I really don't understand that, but people do it all the time. So, in 2026, again, dear ones, this is what I'm referring to is that we have to make choices in 2026 that's going to reflect who we truly are. That means having integrity. That means not listening to the majority of whoever that says, oh, you need to do this or you need to take that. No, we have to stand in our integrity, knowing that no, I don't have to do this or take that. You see what I'm saying? We have to be that. We have to be it. We have to be that force that is in our truth and that has integrity. Because, yes, we are going to witness a lot of things during this year that we do have to make choices, and we have to make the choice that is for our greatest good. Yeah, we cannot dilute ourselves. No, we can't. We cannot try to fit in. No, we can't. We have to just be who we are. Yes, that's what's happening in 2026. So, as I say, you may go through things or experience some things that's going to be uncomfortable, and that's okay if it's going to be uncomfortable, because that means that you are pushing through a belief, okay, that maybe you believed your entire life, but now in 2026, you're pushing beyond that belief because it no longer serves you. You see what I'm saying? So we can no longer hold on to the things that do not serve us. Because when we do, that causes dis-ease, discomfort, and it causes us to be misaligned with our true selves. And in 2026, we are aligning to our true selves. This is the inception point of all of us just growing and being a person that has integrity for his or herself. So we have the choice, and we will experience a lot of things. This is why it is very beneficial for us to connect and do what we're doing right now. Connect with our soul, because our soul, dear ones, has been guiding us. It's always going to guide us to the people, to the places, and to the things that is for our highest good. Yes, we have to follow the compass of our soul, and our soul is always guiding us through our heart. Remember that as well. Yesterday, I did a whole thing on the heart because we are the heart, and we are slowing down. We are pausing so we can hear our own heartbeat. Yes, we are. So the more that we do these things, the better off we are. And we are helping to change the entire world because we are making better choices for ourselves. That's what's happening, dear ones. So allow yourself to be free. Yes, because this year is the red fire horse. Allow yourself to be free because you are free. The only reason why you would not be free is from your own beliefs. Okay? So if you're hanging on to beliefs that limit you, You have to question that. You need to write the stuff down so you can let all of that go, because you can run free in any direction. Yes, you can. And this is the year where all of us are able to do such things if we have the courage, if we want to. Yeah, that's another concept. If we even want to. So just remember that, dear ones, we are able to hear the voice of Source. Yes, Source is always communicating with us, giving us the heads up on what's happening. Yeah, so we can know, so we can grow, and so we can help one another. Yes. All right, beautiful ones. Song and host of The Treasure Is You. And I hope you remember that the treasure is you. All right. Take care. And I'll see you in the video tomorrow. All right.